This is my tip in under 5 minutes, and I'm going to be talking about gaskets, tri-clover gaskets. Alrighty, I am here today to talk about tri-clover gaskets. Now the gasket is the bit that goes between two tri-clovers that makes the seal. There are silicone gaskets, which are normally clear, although you can get them as white, and they are probably the most common gaskets that you can get. They get a little bit gummy over time if they're used with strong acids, but they take the highest temperature and they make the best seal because they're nice and soft. The next type of gaskets that you can get are EPDM gaskets. Now these take a little bit less of the heat tolerance, so they don't really like direct heat as much, but they are a lot more resistant to acids. So these would be best. These are the best gaskets for your longevity, I'd say, in your system, because they're going to last a lot longer than the silicone gaskets. The next kind of gaskets you can get are PTFE. Now they're Teflon gaskets, and they take a very high temperature as well. But unlike the silicone gaskets and the EPDM gaskets, Teflon gaskets are hard, so they're really solid. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got any on hand at the moment. Now, there's varying different things that you want to do with a gasket, and there's probably three main features. This first feature when you're buying a gasket is the size of the hole inside it. See, this has got a big 50mm hole, a big 1-inch diameter hole for a 1/2-inch diameter pipe. So there's some wasted space around here that the beer's going to get stuck in. So if you're going to use 1/2-inch pipes, use gaskets with a 1/2-inch hole. Then you've got less wasted space and you've got more seal around there as well. So that's one thing. The next thing is, if you can get gaskets with a flange on them, see this one has a flange on it, buy those, because they don't fall off. These gaskets fall off, and that's a pain, especially when it drops splash into your beer. These ones will stay. One other thing to consider with your gaskets is what application are you using the triclover on. If you're just making a joint like that, that's cool, that's a nice physical tight joint, because the silicone is nice and soft and the two things stick together really well. And you take your clamp off and it's still going to sit there nicely before you prise it apart. And then of course that will fall on the drink unless you're using a flange one. But anyway, if you want to use it for a raking arm, so if this is going into a kettle and this has a draw tube on it and you want to rake the draw tube around, that's really hard to do with a silicone gasket because it sticks. So the kind of gasket you want to use there is a PTFE gasket, which is Teflon. Now I actually haven't got any of those on hand at the moment, but they're harder gaskets, so they take a bit more clamping to tighten them up, but you can just undo the clamp a little bit and then you can turn the raking arm because they don't get stuck. They don't stick against the stainless like silicone gaskets.